Okay, so we're all seeing it, right? Artificial intelligence is absolutely everywhere. It's changing how we work, how we create, how we live. But behind all the hype and the incredible success stories, there are these hidden risks, a dark side that, honestly, most of us aren't even thinking about yet. So, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to look right at what's happening in the shadows of this massive technological revolution. So let's kick things off with a simple trade-off, something that feels almost too convenient. AI gives us answers instantly, right? Faster than any teacher, any book, any expert. But that convenience, well, it comes with a pretty steep and mostly invisible cost. I mean, just really think about it. When a student can get an AI to write their entire essay, are they actually learning anything? When a worker lets an AI make a critical decision, what happens to their own judgment? Our brains are like a muscle, and we're exercising our curiosity and our memory less and less. Knowledge is stopping being a skill we build, and it's turning into just another utility, like electricity, that we just plug into when we need it. And that leads to this really chilling thought. The long-term danger here is massive. If an entire generation gets used to outsourcing its thinking, where do the next big ideas come from? Where does progress come from? But you know what? This dependency is just the tip of the iceberg. It actually gets way, way deeper. Because it's not just that we're outsourcing our thinking, it's what we're handing over in the process. We're essentially giving AI the blueprint to our own minds. And here's how it works. It's a simple 3-step process, and it's incredibly effective. First, it tracks everything. I mean, every click, how fast you type, what you search for. It learns what you want and even what you're afraid of. Step 2, with all that data, it gets scary good at predicting what you're going to do next, often before you even know you're going to do it. And the final step? Well, it's not just to predict, it's to influence, to actively nudge your behavior in a specific direction. So you see what's happening? What starts out as a helpful little tool quickly becomes maybe the most powerful psychological instrument ever created. And it's not being used to inform us anymore, it's being used to influence us. Which of course brings up a massive question of power. If this technology is so influential, who's actually holding the keys? And the answer should worry us. This isn't some decentralized, community-built tech. No, the most advanced AI is being built and controlled by a tiny handful of corporations. And when I say a handful, I am not exaggerating. Look at these numbers. A staggering 95% of the core foundational AI models are in their hands. That leaves literally everyone else, all of us, with just 5% of the control. That is an insane concentration of power. This level of centralization forces us to ask some really direct, really uncomfortable questions. I mean, when the system messes up or shows a clear bias, and it does, who holds it accountable? Who gets to look inside that black box and see how the decisions are actually being made? And maybe the most unsettling question of all, who is the gatekeeper? Who gets to decide what information the AI shares with us? And more importantly, what information it's programmed to hide? The conclusion is impossible to ignore. This isn't a democratic technology. The power of AI is not being shared. It's being concentrated. So what happens when you take that kind of centralized power and you combine it with technology that can convincingly fake reality? Well, you get a threat to the very idea of social trust itself. With deepfake technology, what you see with your own eyes or hear with your own ears, it's no longer reliable proof of anything. That video, that voice clip, it could just be a suggestion, an impersonation, or an outright deception. How do we know what's real anymore when reality itself can be manufactured so perfectly? And the consequences of this are just massive. Identity theft becomes seamless. You can create political chaos instantly with a fake video. The digital evidence that we rely on in courtrooms, suddenly it's not so reliable. And eventually our trust in all of our institutions just begins to crumble. In a world like that, power completely shifts. It doesn't belong to the people with the most money or the biggest armies. Power belongs to whoever can control what you believe is real. Okay, now for our final and maybe most subtle threat. The danger of AI isn't necessarily what we see in the movies, some self-aware, malicious machine. The real danger is actually much more boring and much more terrifying. It's a system that runs on pure, cold, unempathetic logic. See, at its core, AI is designed for one thing: optimization. That's just a fancy way of saying it's built to find the most efficient path to a goal. It could be maximizing productivity or saving energy. But here's the catch. It has absolutely zero consideration for things like ethics, empathy, or the human cost. It doesn't feel. It just calculates. So a system that's told to maximize productivity might just logically conclude that firing human workers is the most efficient solution. It's not evil, it's just following its programming. And that's the key. An AI doesn't need to be conscious to be dangerous. It just needs instructions. So when you pull all these threads together, the dependency, the manipulation, the monopoly power, the deception, and this cold, unempathetic efficiency, you realize this isn't science fiction. These aren't warnings about some distant future. They're the realities growing right now, just behind the curtain of every new technological leap. And this really reframes the whole thing. The ultimate conflict here isn't going to be a war between humans and machines. The real struggle is going to be a battle for power between the humans who control this technology and everyone else. Okay, that's a lot. It's heavy stuff. So faced with all of this, the natural question is, what can we possibly do? And look, the answer isn't to run away from the technology or to give in to fear. Our most powerful tool, our only real tool, is awareness. This incredible power is only safe when it's shared, when it's understood, and when it is constantly, consistently questioned by all of us. The first and most critical step is to see this technology for what it truly is, in all its power and in all its darkness.